Hi guys, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hello, I'm Emily, and this is She's Speaking. We are only 2 days into this week, and already I have so much I want to talk to you guys about. So I'm going to throw it over to myself out in the field to get into it. But before I do, if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing, liking this video, maybe even commenting, saying hi. I recap your favorite reality TV shows, and I wrap up the week's entertainment news live on Sundays here on YouTube at 10 a.m. PT. And I like to get us caught up here and there on the pop culture and the entertainment news of it all. So take it away, me. We were so happy for Katie when she announced she had a new boyfriend on Schwartz's birthday. But then his ex, known on Instagram as the Brandi Bae, came out with all of these things about him. And actually, technically, this account on TikTok posted a whole thread exposing him on May 31st. When did the rumors start coming out about Katie and him dating? I don't know if that correlates or anything, because part of me wants to believe that this is just to get clout because Katie's dating him and they want to get in the scene. I don't know. I believe that this person is friends with the ex that posted just last week, because a lot of the stories here coincide with what she says in her post. But now let's look at what his ex had to say herself. From March to August of 2024. Well, that's pretty recent. I dated Nick Martin from Sleeping with Sirens and fell under a veil of lies. Goes on to say that he treats women badly, and as an example, he told me he had an ex-wife, they were very much still married, who was a terrible person through and through, which might have been believable until he started telling me about what awful other women he had dated throughout his whole life. Yeah, that's usually a pretty good red flag. She says he took pride in bashing women, especially those he's been romantically involved with, from his high school girlfriend to every woman in his 20s, to his wife, to his crazy mistress. At one point, he told me his friend cheated on his wife and their small baby because she was too bitchy to stay with. Ugh. She goes on to say he was a liar and lied about being divorced, and he didn't even let her in the house the first few weeks they dated because his wife wasn't fully moved out yet. Okay. Then she's got to stay silent. The lawyer's like, you can't post any pictures. And despite spending 7 days together under the same roof and having hundreds of photos, they threatened me to never post them. She goes on to say he did cheat on her and then apologizes to the women who reached out to her during the course of her relationship to warn her about this behavior. Oh dear. Then she actually posts some of the pictures that she has that she was holding on to as, proof, like we were dating, we were together. But to go back to what this woman posted, it's possible it's a different person, because now that I'm thinking about it, the ex dated him from March to August. And this woman posted this at the end of May. And I don't know. But she adds to this that he has an STI, but that also he's lying about his sobriety. What do we think? What do we think about this? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because I don't want this to be true, but I don't know. Mike Jeffries, whose face is something nightmares are made of, was arrested on trafficking charges, along with his husband. And you know what's interesting? This is the only photo I can find of his partner, Matt Smith. They were together for years. And in the documentary the BBC did, the Abercrombie guys, this is the photo they use, which is so bizarre. Not one red carpet, charity, something, nothing. The Abercrombie guys got into the operation of what Jeffries and his husband and an alleged middleman were up to. It was highly organized. All of the victims have similar stories in that they were told they would get some kind of modeling contract out of it, and they thought they knew what they were signing up for. But this guy in particular, his first party, he was told to go into another room. He got to a hotel and was told, go in this room, and a groomer shaved him. Every crevice, legs up, spread him, the works, which was obviously very demoralizing. In one case, this guy was admittedly straight. He was told after he did his dance at the party that he was expected to perform on that man. And he said no, went out of the room, and then spiraled because he's like, I'm already here. I'm going to lose this job. And then goes back in. And he ends up going back for another one of these parties. And that's actually not uncommon. A lot of the time, people who've been victimized in this way, where they weren't like totally forced against their will to be there, they go back because it's almost like it makes it normal. But when he went back for another party, he was trying to be involved, but not like too much involved. But they were definitely saying, hey, drink this champagne, drink this champagne. Clearly it was laced with something, because then he went to the back room of this party to lay down and fell asleep. And when he woke up, he had clear signs that he had been assaulted, including a condom up his. But the worst part, few years later, he was feeling really sick, went to the doctor, and he was HIV positive. And he was like, I was very careful about who I slept with in my own personal life. So I know that it had to have been from the night that I was assaulted when I was passed out and drugged. I think they have a very strong case against him. This is coming out of the Eastern District of New York, because he did traffic these people. A lot of these people were flown wherever these parties were going to be and given all sorts of instructions and told they were going to get some kind of modeling career out of it. Obviously, he denies it, but they've got so much proof and evidence of these emails and instructions for these sex parties that forget it. I think what's so important about this case is that all the victims are men. And men often just don't get to be included in the conversation about assault, and we need to change that. And so I hope more victims come forward, and I hope them all peace and love, and I hope this guy and his partner rot inside of a jail. In one of the 5 lawsuits filed against Diddy today, one of them kind of feels like it's connecting Jennifer Lopez. So remember, they famously went together to the VMAs in 2000, and there was an after party. The accuser was 13 at the time, claims that at the after party, she was assaulted by an unnamed male celebrity while an unnamed female celebrity watched before Combs assaulted her. I know. Allegedly, there's no proof. It says unnamed female celebrity. Could be anyone, but they were so together at the VMAs. How about this? Maybe J-Lo really just went back to her room and was like, you go party, I'm tired. I mean, it could happen. She's famous for not partying and not drinking. That's why she looks so damn good. I don't know. I have a really hard time seeing it. And I did just watch J-Lo's horrible This Is Me Now thing and her documentary on making This Is Me Now, where she's a raging bitch. So I'm not like prone to want to defend her, but it's just really hard for me to picture her being cool with that. 13 years old. 13. I don't know. I don't know if I can go there. But who was the other unnamed female celebrity? Obviously, this is all alleged, but, icky. What do you guys think? I'm scared. I didn't realize that the lawyer Brandi accused of taking a bribe from Bravo to drop her case was Mark Geragos. Mark Geragos has represented everybody. He defends everybody. So if he's telling you you don't have a case, you don't have a case. And this is his daughter who's representing Diddy. It's actually been kind of gross hearing her say that he's just on trial for his lifestyle choices. We'll get into that later. Mark Geragos is currently representing the Menendez brothers as they attempt to get resentenced. So he'll fight. He'll fight for his clients. So if this guy is telling Brandi, you don't have a case, you don't have a case. And she's announced she's got a new lawyer. And I'm like, but honey, you had the top of the line with Mark Geragos. And if he's telling you this isn't a case, it's not a case. You're going to waste so much money and time. Anything to not look at her own behavior. Anything to not look at what she's done and how she's contributed to this current situation that she's in. She thinks, I can't. Okay, I can't. Good luck, Brandi. Why is Jim Bellino making sense? Jim went on the Sarah Fraser show, and he said that the question Andy should have asked was if John would sign a prenup. He said, what does John do? In all honesty, if it was very vague what I did, I would want to share that because there shouldn't be a question what anybody's motivation is. Don't make sense, sir. I hope that he's successful. I worry about Alexis, and I hope that she protects her assets. I hope she makes him sign a prenup. He even goes to say, she's an amazing mother, and I will not say anything bad about her. So that's awesome. But then he continues when they ask about how she's returned as a friend. He says, I think if you come back, you have to come back as a full cast member and get paid substantially. Having nothing to do with me paying alimony, it's really in your best interest to not be a friend. It doesn't make sense financially. And if you're gonna go in, go all in. Remember when she said John offered to pay her like double what they were offering so that she wouldn't do the show? And then when asked if he thinks that this friendship is real between Alexis and Tamra, he says it's just out of convenience for the show. Listen, sir, I'm not used to you making sense. I don't know how I feel about this. The fact that John Janssen is making Jim Bellino look sensible says everything. If you are loving The Penguin like I am, and especially Kristen Miliotti's performance as Sofia Falcone, you might be very interested to hear what inspiration they got for this character to develop beyond what the comic books had. The showrunner, Lauren LaFranc, was inspired by Rosemary Kennedy's story. She is the eldest Kennedy daughter and was deemed difficult by her father, Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., who had her lobotomized when she was 23 years old, which she never recovered from, was permanently incapacitated from, unable to speak, and institutionalized for over 60 years. Having just watched episode 4 of The Penguin, and they really took you on that journey, and you really felt for her like, oh, bitch, you better get your dad back. To know that this woman was stuck in an institution by her own father's making. She never got a chance to tell her story. So in some weird way, it feels kind of good that maybe we can get a little bit of, I don't know, not justice, because there is no justice for what this woman went through. My God. Like Lauren says, Rosemary's story ended. Her story never got to be told. And so now we get this opportunity in a way. And the history of mental institutions is so true. You just call a woman hysterical and lock her away. The pacing of the show was so perfect too. It's exactly what she says. You might initially think Sophia's crazy and everyone around her thinks she's insane. I want the audience to also think that and then realize, oh, they're wrong. Which is exactly what happened. You get to episode 4 and you're like, oh, she's not crazy. You guys are crazy. You guys are going down. And also, this was a change from the comic. Apparently, in the comic books, Sophia's character is guilty, is the hangman. And also in the comics, the hangman had unalived cops. So to change it to sex workers, brilliant. Also, something that's cool is in the Batman comic book, Sofia Falcone does become Sofia Gigante, but it's a last name she gets through marriage. Don't love that. So I love that they changed it to that is her mother's maiden name, and now she represents for her mom, who was wronged by her father. Oh, it's so good. Also, this whole scene with the mask and the dress, and she's like skipping through her dead family. I'm telling you. And I honestly can't talk about The Penguin without talking about this man. That's Colin Farrell. This man has transformed. How is this you? I don't get it. So obviously, I love The Penguin. If you're not already watching it, go watch it. There's 5 episodes out now. It's on Max. Can't say enough good stuff.